As we get into this conversation, I want you to know that I see you. I understand how incredibly difficult these decisions are. You have a giant heart and you care so much about the people that you're serving and the people who help you serve. So I completely understand that this conversation is tricky and difficult to have. Years ago, I remember having a coffee meeting with one of my nonprofit clients, Robin. I was going to be her auctioneer in her upcoming event, and we were reviewing all the details from her previous event. At this point in time, we had gotten so deep into her telling me all about the previous events that our coffees were half drank, they were lukewarm, we were completely enthralled in our conversation. After she shared everything with me, I told her that one thing that became very clear to me in hearing all the details was that if we didn't raise her ticket price for the upcoming event, she was going to continue to not see the profit she needed to be putting the amount of hours into the event and to have her board be happy with how much they raised. In that moment, the feeling of disappointment and dread in her was almost palpable. I could even see her face change. She looked at me after being silent for a second, and she said, "If we raised our ticket price, then people like Shirley wouldn't be able to come." She went on to explain to me that Shirley had been a long-time volunteer and supporter of their organization. She had been there for over 20 years. She was there every time they needed to stuff envelopes or be on the front lines or drive across town to pick something up. And that Shirley always had donated so much of her time, and she'd been at every single fundraising event and was just such an important part of the community and the nonprofit. The reality is I've had conversations like this one with Robin more times than I can count. There are so many people in our community and in our organization that are so vitally important to us that the idea of raising a ticket price and excluding others is one of the most painful things I've ever seen any of my clients wrestle with. This fear, this fear of excluding others is coming up, and it's valid and important, but we can't stop at this fear. We can't stop and let this fear make the decision for the ticket price. We have to ask a completely different question. How do we still fund our mission without excluding the people we love? Another client of mine has solved this in a really unique way. Within their community, what they've done is that they have their gala ticket price pretty high for an individual ticket, say it was $175 per ticket, and then they had a portion, maybe 10 to 20% of their tickets, were pay whatever you can for the tickets. This allowed them to attract donors that have a high resource capacity to buy their individual tickets without excluding extremely important members of their community like Shirley. What they've come to find year over year is they don't sell nearly as many pay as you can tickets as you would think, and that the majority of the tickets purchased are from those individuals buying the $175 ticket price. After doing their event for years, it's clear that we're still raising a ton of money because the majority of the audience does have the means to buy a full price ticket, but we are preserving that inclusive community feeling at their event by allowing some of the most important members of their community that can't afford a full price ticket to still be there and pay whatever they can. Another example of this is in a school audience. There's oftentimes we see that a parent will buy tickets and then they have the option to buy a ticket for a teacher. This allows us to bring our teachers in without our teachers having to pay the same ticket price as a parent would have to pay. Another solution we have seen is a sponsorship package, where if you sponsor at a certain level, then you've funded a certain amount of tickets for people who can't afford the full ticket price either. Now, this entire idea is a layered approach. It is allowing us to have a high ticket price for the people that can afford it, and a lower ticket price or a free ticket for those that are still really vital to have in attendance at our event but can't necessarily afford it. The reality is that you can't have your ticket price do everything. It can't be profitable and inclusive. You have to look at one of these layered approaches in order to accomplish both goals at your gala. The other solution here too is maybe you're watching this video at a time where you've already put your ticket price out. It's already, lower than the suggested ticket price. It's not something you can change at this point. In order to make your gala more profitable, if you check out the impact iceberg here, what you want to do is you want to build your fundraising foundation more. So you want to find more plants and matches for your paddle raiser so that you can still make a meaningful amount of money without having to change your ticket price. You can also add more sponsors to the bottom, but this is how you can still keep your ticket price a little bit lower, but have a more profitable event. Just know that your event night impact, the very tip of the iceberg, won't be as profitable because you have not brought people in the door with a high resource capacity if your ticket price is too low. But this is a way to still make your event profitable overall if you focus on the fundraising foundation and adding more sponsors. The last really important consideration for your event is that you have to have a paddle raiser. A paddle raiser is the most inclusive fundraising opportunity there is because you can get it down to a level that everybody can donate. So make sure you do not skip a paddle raiser. Another important thing is that you don't have to raise your ticket price really high really quickly. It's important to take a gradual approach towards elevating your event. To recap, I know it's extremely nerve-wracking to think about raising your ticket price. I hope that seeing this video has helped encourage you to some of the different solutions when it comes to including the most important members of your community while also making sure your ticket price is high enough that your event will be profitable. Remember that you can think of a layered approach with an individual ticket price and some pay-as-you-can tickets, or having some other members of your community buy some tickets, some sponsors to buy tickets. You can also work on your fundraising foundation and adding more sponsorship dollars to make your event more profitable. You can gradually raise the ticket price year over year. And also by including a paddle raiser, you have made sure to have a fundraising stream that every single person in the room can participate in. To help you think about your ticket pricing even more, download our free goal setting and ticket price calculator to help you look at all the different numbers, and feel free to subscribe to our newsletter so you can get more tips like this to your inbox. As always, we hope you have your most profitable gala yet.